Let's talk about Wilmington, North Carolina, shall we? I think we should.
3, 2, 1, lift off.
Have you ever walked into the gym at 11 a.m. on a Tuesday morning and just looked around? I mean, like really look around and think to yourself, who are these people? Do any of them have jobs? And then you catch yourself and remember, oh wait, I'm one of these people too, and they're probably thinking the same thing about me. Well, welcome to Wilmington. This is Port City Living, the show about Wilmington, North Carolina Unfiltered. I'm Bill Corbett. Now, before we get into today's episode, if you are looking for something fun to do this spring, then mark your calendars. The Wings Over Carolina Beach Air Show is coming up April 24th through the 26th at Carolina Beach Boardwalk. It's presented by the Wilmington International Airport. It's a free event, family-friendly, and it's going to feature air performers by Rooster, RJ Gritter, and Warbird Thunder. It's going to be a great time. I have had so many opportunities to see air shows over the years, and it's always fun, always entertaining. So take the kids, take the dog, take grandma, take whoever, and go out there and have some fun. All the information is going to be below in the show notes. So what do people actually do to earn a living here in Wilmington? It's a good question, right? If you're considering relocating to the area, you might want to have a plan. But before we jump into the hardcore statistics, let's go back about 100 years, because this job conversation didn't start yesterday. Now, here's something most people don't know about Wilmington, or at least most transients don't. Wilmington, believe it or not, was once the largest city in North Carolina. It wasn't Charlotte, it wasn't Raleigh, it was Wilmington. And by 1850, this city was the economic engine of this entire state. That's kind of hard to believe, right? And how, you ask? Well, some metal tracks and cross ties. That's right, the railroad. The Wilmington and Weldon Railroad, to be specific, and it was completed in 1840. When it was finished, it was the longest single railroad track in the world at 161.5 miles of track. Now, for you history buffs, I've included a link to some of this information down below in the show notes. I think you'll find it very interesting. This little coastal city had the longest railroad on the planet. Goods were moving through here. People were moving through here. Money was definitely moving through here. Wilmington held the title of largest city in North Carolina all the way up until about 1910. And then, slowly, things shifted. The economic center of the state moved inland to Charlotte and Raleigh. And then, unfortunately, in 1960, the Atlantic coastline, the railroad that had been headquartered here, the heartbeat of this city's economy, packed up and left. And when the railroad left, so did something else. The momentum, the gravity, jobs, of course. Wilmington became something different after that. Still beautiful and charming, but now it was a sleepy little coastal town. And economically, well, it never quite recovered, and I would argue that we're still feeling this in 2026. So let's talk about what that actually looks like today, because I'm not talking about just vibes here. I have the numbers to back it up, and you people that are numbers people are going to find this very interesting. Now, also keep in mind, I don't want to scare anybody, but this is the unfiltered part of my podcast. The average worker in Wilmington earns about $26.94 an hour. Sounds pretty good, right? Well, it is until you discover that the national average is $32.66 an hour. That's nearly $6 an hour less than what workers are making everywhere else in the country. $6 an hour, that adds up pretty fast. Our median household income here is about $63,000 a year. The national median is over $81,000. So we're running about 20% below the rest of the country. Now, here's the one thing that tells the story for sure. Food preparation and service jobs make up about 13.5% of all employment in Wilmington. The national average is less than 9%. We have more people working in restaurants, behind counters, and in kitchens proportionately than almost anywhere else in America. And these jobs, well, they're paying about $15 an hour on average compared to over $17 nationally. This is a service economy town. It always has been. Well, at least since 1960. And you know what? There's absolutely nothing wrong with people doing this work. I've got many friends and family that work in the service industry, and they love what they do, and they're very, very good at it. But the structure underneath this city has never been built to create real middle-class wealth for the people who live here. Now look, I want to be fair because Wilmington isn't just waitstaff and barbacks. We do have some serious corporate players in this town, and they deserve to be recognized. For example, Encino, a financial technology company that started right here in Wilmington and has become a nationally recognized name in cloud banking. Live Oak Bank, one of the largest small business lenders in the country, headquartered right here on our streets. Corning Incorporated, about 1,000 employees work there, making fiber optics right here in our backyard. GE Hitachi Nuclear Energy. My dad worked at GE from its inception in this area in the late 1960s until the time he retired. PPD, which is now Thermo Fisher, one of the largest clinical research organizations in the world. I actually worked for this company for several years. These companies are real, the jobs are real and good, and the salaries are excellent. And our healthcare sector is growing so fast. Novant Health alone is investing $3 billion into Wilmington's healthcare system. So the good jobs exist, they're just not evenly distributed, and there aren't enough of them to move the needle for anybody. The reality is, for every Encino employee pulling a six-figure salary, there's a whole lot of people in this town cobbling it together in ways that don't show up neatly on a resume. You know what? I call those Renaissance people. So let's go back to the gym, back to that Tuesday morning, back to all of us standing there wondering what each of us do to earn a living here in this town. And here's what I figured out about Wilmington. This town is full of people who decided to make their own way. And when you don't have to climb a corporate ladder or don't need to climb a corporate ladder, then you start to get creative. You know, we're a college town. UNCW pumps thousands of students into this community every single year. And a lot of them never leave. They fall in love with the coast and they stay and they just figure it out. We are a retirement town. People spend their whole careers somewhere else. They save their money and they come here to exhale and to relax. We are a military adjacent town. Spouses, veterans, people who land here because of Camp Lejeune up in Jacksonville, and they don't leave either. And then there's everybody else, the remote workers, the freelancers, the artists, the photographers, the personal trainers, and the real estate agents. I always joke and say in New Hanover County, there's about 300,000 give or take people, and about 298,000 of them are real estate agents. And that's basically true. And honestly, I'm one of these people. I run a real estate business called Port City Living under Fathom Realty. I host this podcast. I have a YouTube channel, both called Port City Living. Plug, plug, plug. My office is anywhere I am. My hours are whatever my clients need. Someone might look at me on a Tuesday morning at the gym and think, doesn't he have somewhere to be? Well, yeah, I do, but not in the traditional way. And I do it the way many others do in this town. That's Wilmington. We're not lazy. Some of us just do it differently. But here's the thing. Wilmington, this whole area, we know we have a job problem. That's clear, and that's been very clear for many, many years. But there are signs of things that may be starting to shift. Last year, something happened that the people running economic development in this region called, and I'm quoting here, the single largest economic development announcement in regional history. Whoa, that's a big deal. Guess what it is? It's a little thing called Amazon. No, not the river or not the area, but the online retailer. It's coming to Wilmington. Ish. I'll tell you about the ish part in just a minute. A massive robotics fulfillment center over 3 million square feet, that's more than 11 football fields in size, is bringing over 1,000 jobs at $20 an hour to this area. The largest Amazon facility in all of North Carolina right here. They broke ground. They had the little shovels. They did the speeches. The mayor was so proud. Everybody was proud. They were basking in the sunlight of a bright new world. They said it would be open in November of 2025. Well, that didn't happen. Now look, Timelines slip. It happens. I get it. Now they're saying that the facility should be open sometime in the fall of 2026. And I genuinely hope it does open and it gives thousands of Wilmingtonians and other people in the area jobs, because we need this here. But I will say this, and this is the unfiltered and the ish part I mentioned earlier. The facility is technically in Pender County, not Wilmington, not even New Hanover County, Pender County, just to be clear. And this is totally on brand for us. Even our biggest economic wins is just slightly adjacent. So again, listen up if you're thinking about moving to the Wilmington area and maybe you don't have a set career or you don't have a job lined up. Just know that if you think you're going to walk into a high-paying job with little effort, I'm going to be honest, it's not going to be that simple. It's really not. This town will require some creativity. It will require some patience. So if you're willing to have creativity and a little patience, and you're willing to build something rather than try to find something, then Wilmington will meet you halfway. So let's wrap this up. Who actually works in this town? Well, I'll tell you, everybody works in this town, just not the way you would expect. We are bartenders and bankers. We're nurses and Encino engineers. We are retirees who worked 40 years somewhere else and earned the right to watch the moon rise over Wrightsville Beach or the sunset over the Cape Fear River every evening. We're college kids who came here for 4 years to earn a degree, and they're still here 15 years later trying to figure it out because they love it so much. We're remote workers on back porches with laptops and good Wi-Fi and even better views. We're artists and photographers and personal trainers, and yes, we're real estate agents at the gym on a Tuesday morning. This town has never been defined by its corporate infrastructure, that is for sure. It's been defined by its people. People who look at this beautiful, complicated, and sometimes frustrating coastal city and say, you know what? I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to make this work. The railroad left in 1960. The economic center moved inland, and Wilmington did what it always does. It adapted. It got creative and probably a little scrappy in the process. And maybe, just maybe, with a little help from a certain online retailer in Pender County, we're about to turn the corner. Who knows? Well, that's my show for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. And until next time, I want to leave you with this saying by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail.